But for the names, that one I think it's most likely by NERA staff, honorable member. So we shall correct that one. Yes, Honorable Kabulin, just a minute. I wanted to. Okay, Honorable.
Minister, you become a speaker. Can you finish what you're supposed to? Honorable
Thanks very
Kabulin.
much, Right Honorable Speaker.
First wait. Let him first respond to what was asked, then you come in.
Honorable.
You just sit near here.
Honorable Christine talked about, but the Right Honorable Speaker clarified that one. On those, he wanted confirmation of termination. I can produce it. But they were terminated because administratively we had to take action. Once a complaint is raised, even without concrete evidence, I think it's best that somebody stands aside, even as investigations go on. Registration of children in primary schools, their names were issued, but most cards are not collected. We have a heap of cards, and I think we shall update the public on this subject, and also the subject of helping students who made errors. This is for Honorable Christine. Last, I want to answer Honorable Amera. I never clarified. Citizenship never expires. And evidence of citizenship is the NIN. Even with the tenure for the ID, the citizenship of a person doesn't expire. I want to thank you, Right Honorable members.
Honorable Kapulindi has some clarification.
Honorable Serung also, ma'am, with your permission, wanted to ask.
Yeah, thanks very much, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Minister. Arising out of his question that how do you tell that the error was made by the staff or the applicant? I escorted one friend to NILA claiming that they had made a mistake so that he could not pay the 200. They went into their
if it satisfies the following criteria. 1, has a minimum of 25,000 people for a town council, 100,000 people for municipality, 500,000 people for a city. B, has a master plan for land use. C, has available water resource and can meet the cost of providing services. D,
Is it a resource or sources?
sources. D, preparation of urban physical plans. Right, Honorable Speaker, again allow me to go to the observations. The committee observed that whereas the cities have approved physical plans, developments are not guided by those plans. The ministry has not yet provided funding for new cities to develop physical development plans. For those that have plans, funding was provided by development partners. The majority of the residents in these new cities live in unplanned areas and as a result experience development problems that put more strain on the already existing infrastructure. According to the Building Control Act Section 28(3), the chairperson for the Planning and Development Committee of the District Council shall be the chairperson of the District Building Committee. Subsection 5 provides that the chairperson of the Urban Planning and Development Committee of the Urban Council shall be the chairperson of the Urban Building Committee. Contrary to the above, the committee established that in most of the cities, building plans were considered and approved by city building committees chaired by the Secretary of Works. The committee was informed that the above irregularity was as a result of fraud and corruption. The committee recommends that the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development should ensure that all cities are facilitated to develop their respective physical development plans within the next 2 financial years. The Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development and the Ministry of Local Government should ensure that all city developments adhere to the approved physical plans. The ministry should play its oversight role to ensure that the building control committees in all cities comply with the provisions of the Act. Cities that have not gazetted their intended development plans should do so and consider people's concern or opinions over the same. The chairperson of the Urban Planning Committee should be the officer to chair the city building control committees instead of secretaries of works as provided by the Building Control Act. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the staffing and recruitments of these cities. Again, I want to go straight to the observations. The committee observed that the staff structure of cities, which was approved by Cabinet in January 2022 and adopted by the respective city councils, has never been filled, which means cities are operating with less than half of the required staff. I beg the members to refer to Table 1 and see the recruitment levels of each city. Number 2, all affected cities suffered from a shortage of staff due to the ban on recruitment by public service, despite the variability of the wage. The current position by the Ministry of Public Service is that the ban applies only to the recruitment on replacement, a situation that has greatly affected staffing levels in all cities and mother districts. The committee recommends that the government should ensure the implementation of the approved human resource structure for cities and lift the ban on recruitment. Number 2, the committee recommends that the government should provide an adequate budget for both the new cities and the parent districts to remedy the shortage of staff in the financial year 2024-2025. That was then when the committee made the report. Number 3, the committee recommends that the government should fast track the Salary Review Commission in local governments. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee considered asset sharing between the cities and the mother districts. And the committee observed that the Ministry of Local Government has never issued any guidelines to facilitate the smooth operationalization of the new cities in question, including asset sharing. Number 2, the committee observed that the absence of guidelines has led to hostilities between the new cities and the parent districts. In some instances, local officials in the parent districts have taken advantage of the vacuum to sell off existing public assets, especially land. The committee recommends that the Minister of Local Government should lay before Parliament guidelines for asset sharing between the new cities and parent districts within 30 days. Number 2, the committee recommends that the Inspector General of Government, IGG, should carry out an investigation into all the alleged fraudulent transactions of assets in the newly established cities, report to Parliament within 3 months, and prosecute the culprits. The committee recommends that the sale of public assets, including land, be halted until the Minister of Local Government lays before Parliament the guidelines on asset sharing between cities and the parent districts. Right Honorable Speaker, we also considered the road equipment for these new cities. The committee observed that lack of road equipment has affected cities' efforts to maintain already dilapidated roads, mainly because they have to incur mechanical repair costs for the road construction equipment, most of which was already grounded when the cities were still under municipal status. The committee recommends that 1, the government provides funding for the procurement of durable road equipment and improves on the existing equipment for all the new cities. The equipment, among others, should empower cities to construct paved roads in the financial year 2024-2025. That's when we wrote the report. The committee recommends 2, that the Ministry of Works should adequately equip regional mechanical workshops to prevent the high cost of transport and delayed maintenance works. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the committee also looked at the statutory bodies. And the committee observed that although the Ministry of Local Government enabled cities to establish required statutory bodies, these were not well facilitated to enable them to effectively execute their mandate. The committee recommends that the government should provide adequate funding to enable statutory bodies in the cities to execute their mandate. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee also looked at the relocation of new district headquarters. And the committee observed that the government had neither supported the district local governments to relocate to new headquarters, nor facilitated cities to set up their new offices. Number 2, the committee observed that there is no law that requires that a district headquarters must be constructed in a place recognized as a town. paragraph 2 of the third schedule of the Local Government Act only requires such a declaration of town to be made after construction of the district headquarters. The committee observed that in some cities visited, the mother districts were constructing premises at the sub-county headquarters, implying that the town council offices needed relocation as land that housed them had been taken over. The committee recommended that the government should implement its early commitment of equal startup funding for all the mother districts. That was by then. Number 2, the committee recommends that the Ministry of Local Government should gazette the new town council locations that already house the new district headquarters within 45 days from the date of the adoption of this report by Parliament. Right Honorable, I know that this recommendation may have been overtaken. Right Honorable, the committee recommends that the government should allocate funds to enable both the new cities and the mother districts to establish new infrastructure. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee also looked at office space and accommodation for these new cities. And the committee observed that the majority of staff for the new cities still occupy and use the office space for the old municipalities, which is not sufficient for their smooth operation. The committee recommends that the government should provide adequate funding to mother districts to construct and furnish new district headquarters as a priority in 2024-2025. The government should introduce a legal framework to streamline and guide both mother districts and the new cities in asset sharing and relocation and infrastructure. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee also looked at remuneration of political leaders in the new cities. And the committee observed that Regulation 4 of the first schedule of the Local Government Act, cities with high local revenue will have more funds to spend on emoluments of their officials as compared to those with less revenue, which not only creates discrepancies in payments to the public servants, but also creates room for abuse of funds in a disguise of emoluments. The committee observed that discrepancies in emoluments and allowances cause a decline in morale and create unnecessary competition for jobs within high revenue generating local governments and low level generating local governments, thus attracting an environment of corruption. The committee recommends that the government should introduce a bill that will govern the operation of cities. The committee recommends that the government should amend the Local Government Act and any other relevant laws that govern a city or urban area to harmonize the salary and emoluments of staff and political leaders regardless of revenues generated. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee looked at the funding of the cities. And the committee observed that the process of creating cities was done without due consideration of the criteria laid out in the Local Government Act, Cap 243. The committee observed that in the process of creating these cities, some rural sub-counties were annexed to the existing municipalities without putting into consideration several critical issues about the future growth and development of the cities. The committee observed that the government has failed to fund cities as per the status. The committee recommends that the government should ensure adequate and sustainable funding to the newly created cities in the subsequent financial years before the remaining 5 cities take effect. That is Entebbe, Moroto, Nakasongola, Kabale, and Wakiso, to enable them to meet the demands and expectations of a city status. The committee recommends that the government should be transparent with Parliament and the public, stating whether it can fully implement this commitment. General observation. The Committee on the Government Assurance and Implementation did its assessment and found gaps in the operationalization of the 10 cities created by government and approved by Parliament. The gaps were largely attributed to lack of an enabling regulatory and legal framework, office space and accommodation, appropriate physical development plans, inadequate staffing, and inadequate funding. Conclusion. The committee concludes that to a large extent, the government has not implemented this assurance to fully operationalize the new cities. I therefore pray that the report of this Committee on Government Assurance and Implementation and the status of implementation of the government assurance to fully operationalize the newly created cities be considered by this House and the recommendations therein adopted. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, I beg to report.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman of Government Assurance, for that good report. I want to thank you for the report. Honorable Minister, on the issue of asset sharing, you talked about having the guidelines, but mine, I picked an interest on fraudulent sale of assets for the public. I want you to respond to that in line with Section 32(6) of the Public Finance Management Act. Yes, Honorable Seungu, Christine, Alan.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the chair of the committee who came in after when I was vice, and I also had the room to visit these cities when I was still vice chair, carrying out the same job. But your report is stronger than mine. So thank you very much, Honorable Abed. Madam Speaker, the issue of land in the new cities, Honorable Minister, through the Speaker, must be given a lot of attention. In the Fort Portal, the old district was in the control of land against the new city, and they were fighting against themselves. So who takes control of land? What is the succession and the process of taking assets from the city, from the old district to the new city? Properties in Imbarara, they were complaining, Madam Speaker. The old district was in control of the offices within the city, and the new city or the administrators were not having where to sit. Could those assets be taken by the new city because they are within their jurisdiction now? And what happens to the new district? Honorable Minister, Woodsmith, you are making very good roads in these new cities. Even in Masaka we have them. But what kind of contract did you sign with the Woodsmith? Because after creation of making of these roads, there must remain equipment that will carry on routine maintenance of these new roads. But as we talk now, Madam Speaker, National Water breaks some areas. After breaking those new roads, nobody repairs them. And there is no equipment in place that will work on those roads after they are handed over by government. Places taken from different areas annexed. In Kalungu, where I come from, Masaka was a battle taking some parishes from Kalungu district, Chibisi and the Kasanji. But the resemblance from the time they were taken to the city and where they came from has not changed. There is still dust. You have put there some lights, night lights, but they're all filled with dust. People need to see that. But on what is happening is that you are putting strict laws on these new areas, stopping people from building their type of houses they are used to construct before they came into the cities. So could we see that change take place, Honorable Minister? Lastly, the governance type of houses, governance structures, we need these leaders in the cities to resemble Kampala city. When you talk about the Lord Mayor of Kampala, he has a vehicle with the name Lord Mayor. Then in Masaka, in Mbale, in the other areas, the chairman, the mayor is still a KLC5 chairman of where he came from, with an old double cabin. My interest as I enter Masaka city, as I enter Mbale city, any other city, I want to feel that pinch, interest, love, beauty of Kampala, and my mayor should also be in that kind of status.
Of the
Madam
capital
Speaker,
city, the capital city with the with Masaka city. No,
Madam
I am just looking at the difference between Masaka and then Kampala capital city. Capital. Just put the word capital.
Capital. Okay, city. But at least when you go to Arusha, you go to Dodoma, you go to Dar es Salaam, you see that kind of happiness in their areas. That's what I'm trying to bring. But I want to thank the committee.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, and thank you, Chair, for the report. Right Honourable Speaker, I personally, we are blaming for the failure of operationalizing some of these cities, and that it is only 4 in operation. But we need also, Right Honourable Speaker, to ask ourselves, is it a necessary expense now to have these cities operational, or we want to fulfill our political obligations of having more members of parliament?
You said how many are operational?
There are 5.
No, there are 10. You have Arua, you have Gulu, Soroti, Mbale, Jinja, Masaka, Mbarara, Fort Portal, and Hoima. Those are operational out of the 15, and Lira, out of the 15.
Out of the 15.
Now 5 are the ones which are not operational.
Yes, thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the observation. So we are wondering if that expense is really attractive to us now to really operationalize everything. But when we go for the physical development plans, Right Honourable Speaker, there are many of our people who have been residents of those areas for a long time. And it is just upon some people to shift the way they do their things, especially on the issue of land use. Right Honourable Speaker, our residents keep telling us, this is not only to the cities, but also the town councils and municipalities, that we do not take them through what they need to do, how they need to change their lifestyles. They have been here with graves, with their grandfathers years and years back, but the way they should behave in cities is really a challenge. And that other part of, orienting the population to fit in the city, it needs some special department in this process. Right Honourable Speaker, the issue of waste management in cities. Very many cities, we are looking at the structural plans and looking at operationalization of the governance, but land for the green zones in the cities, land for abattoirs, land for waste management, as if that one belongs to the MPs to help their people look out for where to, drag their garbage. Right Honourable Speaker, we would like more
You said the
elaboration.
MPs are the ones giving people where to take the garbage.
They are intervening a lot. People keep requesting them, the abattoirs, the garbage collectors and the leaders.
Don't these governments have that land?
The issues with the land, as if that
I'm
one is
saying, don't they have the land? It's just a matter of allocation.
Yeah, some don't, and many don't have, Right Honourable Speaker.
We'll hear,
And the negotiation-
we'll hear from the minister.
And the
Because
negotiations are not thorough.
I don't want MPs to be seen to be the ones doing government work. It's not correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right Honourable Speaker, the negotiations are always not thorough. The land owners keep on complaining as if the compensations are mean, and then land
By the
titles.
way, for compensations to be done, the government valuer does the valuation.
Yes.
The compensation is not just done after seeing that this is your land. I think I should give you 5 shillings. No, there should be evaluation from a government
valuer.
valuer.
Yeah. Right Honorable Speaker, thank you so much. And we thank the committee for the report.
Thank you.
Those are some of the
Alan.
observations.
Alan, Tony,
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Edakas.
I thank the committee for that elaborative report about our cities. Madam Speaker, I think going forward, we should think about making a law separately to govern and oversee the operationalization
Which law is that?
of
Tell
this
me
city,
the law.
like it is with the Kampala Capital City Authority. Because as a former councillor at KCCA, this helped us so much and is still helping others there to manage the city better. Because the Ministry of Local Government seems to be overwhelmed by the too much work in supervising all the local governments in this country. Because these are cities, we need to see a change. We need to see something looking better, like how Honorable Wung said, that when we go to other cities in other countries, not necessarily the capital cities, but when you go to Cape Town, when you go to Mombasa, you see at least some change in management, rather than when you go to Masaka, it still looks as if it was like LOC as a district. So
What
this
is the LOC?
local council or local government in Masaka.
Why are you trying to demean Masaka like it is a... Masaka is a city.
In the name.
No. MP of Masaka.
And he's
Yes,
the one who made the report.
Let me first have Honorable OO.
Right Honorable Speaker, for the record and others who are going to read these proceedings after us, when this matter of the cities came, it was unanimous. This parliament was unanimous and Honorable Sewanyana was there.
In the 10th parliament.
I can forgive the MP from Chivoga because she was not there yet, but I cannot give Honorable Sewungu and Honorable Sewanyana. For us to start debating about cities, we are not appreciating the urbanization policy of government. And now, for you to say every city must be like Kampala or Mombasa, you are not recognizing the growth trend for any urban center. Kampala in 1923 was not the Kampala you see now. Are you in order, Sewungu?
Madam Speaker, I was still driving my point home.
Honorable members, I like when we ask question that is this really necessary? Is it necessary to have these cities? I remember in the 10th parliament, government had not brought all these cities. It was a give and take. It was a negotiation in the house. People said, if you want us to allow your cities, also give us in this area. It was a fault of parliament. It was not government. It was parliament that added cities. I am telling you, I was there for you knew.
Madam
Yes,
Speaker,
Tony.
I was driving my point home.
Right Honorable,
finish.
the Honorable Member Sewanyana, I want to invite him to Masaka City.
Yes.
Masaka, ever since was awarded the city status, has grown as the growth center for the entire region.
Thank you.
You need to come to Masaka and see the road network. You need to come to Masaka and see the businesses in Masaka. This parliament gave us money for a new stadium and we are constructing. I want to invite the honorable member. It is not true that Masaka has not changed. Masaka has changed greatly. It is growing. I invite you. I will pay even for your accommodation, honorable, so that you enjoy
the last time Honorable Sewanyana was in Masaka, he was in... so he didn't see how beautiful the city is. He didn't see the beauty of the city. Yes, Tony?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members. Right Honorable Speaker, first of all, I want to thank the committee for the report, and I want to support the recommendations. But most importantly, Right Honorable Speaker, urbanization is very significant in development of a community and any area. And we want to support government and this parliament. In last parliament, I was there, we supported the creation of these cities. And when you look at most of these towns now, which are being supported because they have become cities, they have become municipalities, under youth meets, for example, you find it changes the structures and the life of people. The economic activities gets more high, social services in terms of education and health and innovations and business gets much better than before. I want to give you an example of a town, Right Honorable Speaker, where you know very well Apache Town. When you get to Apache Town today, after the support under Youth Meet, the whole town has changed, is beautiful, and the business has increased. When you get to Masindi, when you get to Gulu, now the main issue here is that this will require a lot of support from government and parliament in terms of guidelines, in terms of resources and budget, so that where there are gaps and challenges in urbanization, we are able to put in resources and support it to grow. So I think the general principle here that we should support the urbanization process that government has taken, parliament has supported. Now resources are needed, and that should be the center of our discussion. How do we prioritize supporting as per the report of the chairperson and the committee? And we see that we push these centers, these cities, these municipalities, and even the rural growth centers, Right Honorable Speaker. The employment has increased as a result of having these cities, and which Parliament must support. So I want to thank the committee and think we concentrate on what we need to do going forward because we know the challenges are there. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Adakas.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity. Let me also add my voice to thank the chairman for the report, and maybe just a comment on three things. One is really the issue of access to water. I think the cities, they are new cities that were approved, but with difficulties. If I use the example of Soroti City, we still have the same access point of water from Aoja, supplying the city and supplying Kalaki District, Kabremaido District, and a fleet of all those. I think it would be good for the ministry to now plan a source of water for only Soroti City, and also plan other sources for the other town councils, a fleet of town councils in all those districts. In Kabremaido Town Council, we face water challenges, and it's because we are dependent on Soroti City to extend the water to Kabremaido. I think it would be important for the ministry to pay attention to that. The other is really the emoluments of local councils, which I would tell you, it's the same issue probably in the cities as it is in the rural areas. Most of the LC1s, their work has increased beyond what it used to be because of the growth in our economy. Today in the city, most LC1s would get paid percentile out of sales of land and things like that. They continue to look for ways to be rewarded. I think the chairman and the committee were right to point out that local councils, whether they are councillors or chairpersons LC1s, they need better, government needs to plan better for them as their level of involvement has increased. And finally, generally the role of what we call a parish or a ward has also increased. Ever since the coming of PDM, we now see large populations around wards and around parishes. And those numbers of population require better planning. As I speak, whereas our policy seems to say healthcare goes to the sub-county in terms of health center 3. There's a lot that is happening in the parish actually, and the removal of the health center 2, taking it to health center 3 is leaving a gap that is not being filled by policy. And I think that kind of policy needs to be rethought. Even in the rural areas, some parishes are too large
Thank you.
even to just provide for the resources. I thank you.
Ross.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to salute the committee for work well done. I am from Terego, but occasionally I come to Arua City, which is one of the new cities. And the areas he alluded to, especially the garbage collection, is so crucial for the new cities. It will be very, very imperative upon the nation to specifically allocate money for the new cities for their operationalization, because the influx of the population is really at a very high rate. We used to run up to Kampala. Now you can imagine the number of buses that truck to Kampala every other day has reduced because we have a city called Arua. And we share Arua with Congo and Sudan. They are lucky to have a city made out of Uganda and in Arua. And also the issue of water challenge. I think whatever National Water had planned is so small now for the cities. I think there is need to plan for water, especially water and sewage corporation. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Minister, you need to take note of the issue for the garbage. It's a very serious matter, and that's why you find somebody had brought a motion one time on retention of NTR, retention of the NTR. Gabriel, then youth.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like to thank the chair of the committee for a very elaborate report. For me, since the window for operationalization of cities has come in, I would like to bring in the aspect of our town councils. In Zombo, we have 2 town councils which were created, but they have not been operationalized. But they are town council and Ward town council. The services, the money they used to get through the sub-counties, actually, the way they are being, the support they used to get from government, actually, because of the creation 5 years ago, they don't have the resources to run the town councils. Secondly, I would like also to ask the Minister of Local Government, since he has come, the policy of urbanization is good. In Zombo, we have Paida Town Council. Since 15 years ago, it has been requesting and it has been qualifying to be elevated to a municipality. To date, 15 years ago, if you see the reports chronologically, they have been qualifying, but up to now.
Honorable Kumo, let's first operationalize what was created before we create others. Because Honorable both is going to stand up, Honorable Angura will stand up on Tororo, but let's first operationalize what was created, and then now we now create others once we have the money. Yes, youth.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to extend gratitude to the committee for a comprehensive report. Honorable Speaker, when the chairman was reading the report, I noted one thing that really made me think twice. He noted that some cities have development plans and others don't adhere to those development plans. Honorable Speaker, as planning professionals, we are often reminded that failing to plan, we plan to fail. Second, Honorable Speaker, these cities that we shape in the beginning, in the end, shape our lives. For example, if you build a city and provide more spacious streets, you invite more cars. If you build a city and create more walking space, you're providing comfortable space for pedestrians. If you build a city and create more space for cyclists, you're encouraging cyclists. Honorable Speaker, even our forefathers here, by 1945, found it very important to invite a German architect to come here and plan Kampala. But when you look at it now, most of the suburbs of Kampala are growing as grand slums. Honorable
Actually,
Speaker,
when you're coming from Entebbe.
Yes,
That is a welcome for you
yes.
when you're coming from Entebbe, when you see the buildings.
So, Right Honorable Speaker, I need to emphasize, it is imperative that we emphasize the aspect of development planning. Right Honorable Speaker, I believe strongly that these cities were created to alleviate pressure from Kampala City. Now, if we make the mistake of not planning for them properly, and if we make the mistake of not emphasizing strict adherence to development plans, we are planning to fail as a country. It will be absurd for the young people that come after us in 40 years to come to be raised in Uganda, which is one grand slum. It would be unfortunate. So I want to urge this House to emphasize strict adherence to physical development planning for this country's development. Thank you very much.
Eddie.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I want to thank the committee for a good report. Honorable members, here we have a Ministry of Local Government, but is not in charge of the urban policy. The urban policy is housed in the Ministry of Lands. So it means that there is a constitutional conflict, which the government needs to take into consideration and say that if we are developing Uganda, the purpose of having cities and the other urban areas is to have a well-planned country, meaning that there should be coordination and good relationship between the ministry responsible for urban policy and the one implementing or urbanizing the country. That's very important, Right Honorable Speaker. Another issue that is very important is that when the Minister of Local Government was creating the cities and the urban centers, like municipalities and town councils, the Minister of Finance issued a certificate of financial implications, meaning that what was presented by the Minister of Government and the government had a corresponding financial implication. So what happened when you came to Parliament and said that you had money to operationalize town councils, cities, and other urban centers? So is it that those financial certificates for financial implications, if they are audited, were they false or they were correct? Secondly, we are talking about resources allocations for implementing and operationalization of the cities.
Honorable, both. I want you to take note of what is raising.
So, both is
that when they brought a certificate of financial
implications, yes.
That was meant to
and
create.
The honorable members and Right Honorable Speaker, Oboso as the senior minister should be sitting here, because we don't see the Minister of Finance, we don't see the Minister of, we don't see even the Prime Minister.
The Attorney General is also seated.
So, I would think that at least the other day, the Minister in charge of Works was actually lamenting. Right Honorable Speaker, you remember how the General Katumba Wamaza was lamenting and suspending. I thought you were in defense. Honorable Katumba Wamala, the Minister of Works,
you speak about your
did
issue.
come here
Don't talk about
and suspended national roads because of finance. Now we are talking about operationalization of cities. That's money. We don't see the Minister of Finance. So Honorable Magezi himself is going to
know that it is money. Let's first
operationalization.
Bring your issue.
As I conclude, we talk about resources, we talk about harmonization of who manages the policy, and actually to make sure that this Parliament does not create other urban centers without proving that there are sufficient resources to operationalize those centers. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ayume.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and thank you to the Chairman for presenting a good report. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to draw your attention to the issue of the Regional Maintenance Workshop for road equipment. In West Nile, like the Chairman had alluded to on the issue of equipment maintenance, our Regional Equipment Workshop is 300 kilometers away. That is in Gulu. So the turnaround time of the caterpillars, the bulldozers, the tractors is long, as long as 6 months. So we have to wait for up to 6 months for the technical team to come all the way from Gulu to repair our equipment. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker, I didn't hear the issue of sewage. Most cities have now resorted to septic tanks and soak pits. But I think the colonial government, what they left here in terms of the grid, the sewage grid has not been improved over the last 5 years, over the last 50 years. If you look at what they left in Kololo, Naguru, Bugolobi, and Nakasero, is still the same sewage grid.
True.
I hope that in the new cities, National Water can also improve the sewage network as opposed to septic tanks and soak pits. Thank you.
Thank you, Akik. Then Angura.
Thanks so much, Right Honorable Speaker. And I thank the committee for the good report. For your information, I also studied urban planning. So whatever has been said here is also important and dear to me. My question is, what is the relationship between the mayors, the town clerks, and the MPs in charge of these municipalities and cities? Technical people and politicians, there's always a disjointed effort. And I don't know how many MPs who are here, who are coming from the municipalities and the cities, are listening to all this, and how many times they go and meet in the councils and find out what is happening in their cities. Colleagues, there is also a
Honorable Florence, it is not only in cities or municipalities. All members of parliament are ex-officials of
but for this case, we have MPs, specifically for municipalities and cities. For me as a woman MP, yes, I go there, I can go to the district council, I can also go to the municipal council. So I think there is need for these three arms of government, the mayors, the town clerks, and the MPs in charge of these municipalities, because that's why we created them.
They are not three arms of government. The three arms of government is executive, legislature, and judiciary.
Madam Speaker, I do understand that by these three sectors, whatever we can call them, it is important that they link together, because if they don't work together, so you may find that the mayors are doing their own things. We give them 1 billion. We give the municipality 1 billion. And what they do with that 1 billion, we may not even do, because it's easier for the MP in charge of a municipality to follow the nitty-gritty of that municipality. Okay. And therefore, and then the urban planning and management is under the means of housing, and then there's also local government. What is the linkage between there? So we need to have some sort of multi-ministerial planning together to come up with a way of fiscal planning. I don't know how the Minister of Local Government and the Minister of Housing and Urban Development work together, because we used to have, when I was an urban officer, because I was a district urban officer in Luweero, we used to have master plans for all these urban centers. And I don't know whether we still have those urban centers. They have even, because planning takes place after the development. And that's why we have slums. We don't plan earlier. So by the time you go to plan, they are already slums. And breaking some of these structures becomes difficult. You may have to compensate them. So if we are shifting, we are having peri-urban areas. These peri-urban areas should be well planned than the CB.
Honorable Ngora. Jessica.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I also want to thank the chairperson and his committee members for a good report. Madam Speaker, you will recall that the whole country was declared a planning area. It is only unfortunate that we are not following this to the dot, and it is high time we emphasized and supported planning, starting with the cities now, but also urbanization in general. The rate of urbanization growth is so high, and this will be good for us even in the near future when we get people to urban settings such that we can release the pressure of land for production, as among others. Madam Speaker, as I support the chairman and all that has been raised, yes, it is really prudent that I also re-emphasize and re-echo the statement that you said. For us as the Tororo and Bukedi, we are among those who are now expecting to get a city. And this city is coming with the relief that the problems that Tororo has been having, we are now privileged that when that time comes, we shall be seeing another 2-3 districts. So how I wish we could fast track this such that we are able to see how to bring development nearer to the people by getting the city of Tororo, which will be in Tororo County, and it should now come with the proper planning, and it should come with the provisions as have been raised by the chair and the committee, such that we see that move out. And the districts to come. I thank you.
As Parliament, we got a rumor. We got a rumor that Tororo is supposed to be a city. So I want to hear from the minister that how far have you gone with the issues of Tororo? Because for us as Parliament, we are ready to grant Tororo a city status.
Thank you very much, Madam.
Yes, Lob. Jessica, you don't come from a city. Yes, Jessica.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank the committee for a very good report. But Right Honourable Speaker, I want to support the rest in saying that we need to ensure that all these cities are well facilitated. We committed ourselves as a house, we committed ourselves as government. Therefore, we need to ensure that all of them are operationalized. Secondly, Right Honourable Speaker, it would have been better if we had that component reflecting what we need to ensure the implementation of all what we have planned.
Thank you, thank you. And when you're talking about planning, remember you are the same people who did appropriation. You'll need to check whether you did appropriate money for these remaining cities or not.
Lastly, Right Honourable Speaker, I really feel that we need to put more emphasis on equipping and sustaining our regional mechanical workshops. This will provide a bridge between our districts and the ministries. For example, the one in Gulu, Right Honourable Speaker, I am in touch with the workshop, but the maintenance is so poor. I recommend that the ministry responsible for the workshop comes with a comprehensive report so that we get to know the challenges, which is always making our equipments to be down, and we see how to address them. Lastly, Right Honourable Speaker, the town councils are not operational.
Thank you.
Can we also have a report? I have Pakle Town Council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity. And I thank the chairman for the wonderful report. And as a member of parliament from Mbale City, most of the things, the challenges we are facing surround funds, and as the minister stated, issues concerning garbage. Right Honourable Speaker, I think we need to address it as soon as possible because, for example, we only have 2 trucks that have to ferry garbage in the entire city. And one, we've dedicated it to the central market, meaning only 1 truck has to collect garbage the entire city, which is not realistic. And when you look at the money that was being sent to Mbale municipality, it's the same money now being sent to Mbale city, yet the scope of work has significantly increased. For example, roads, you will see we're covering about 150 kilometers under the municipality. Now we have over 500 kilometers to deal with, but the money does not reciprocate the amount of work that has been increased. Then lastly, it concerns the assets. that were shared. When you look at Mbale City, the district took almost all the assets, even the land in the city now. The Mbale district is owning literally everything. And we do not have any road equipment. That is why we are facing challenges. We have to go to Jinja to bring equipment, and it's very, very expensive because actually even the employees who come with the equipment from Jinja, we have to pay them per diem. You find that we are spending about 70 million shillings in a quarter to pay staff that are coming from Jinja with their equipment to help in Mbale. We look at the roller, Right Honorable. We have to depend on the bus of Bukedea because Bukedea has come in on several times to help with rollers to do most of our roads. So we are facing...
Bukedea is a very friendly district.
Bukedea is yes, Right Honorable, Bukedea is a very good neighbor and district, and it has been helping us. But it is sad that as Mbale as a city, we have to look at Bukedea, which is a district, to help us with some of this. And lastly, the issue of garbage, I think, Right Honorable, we need to look at how we can
But where
relocate.
we have equipments on a nearby district or whichever, these are all government property. We should be able to share as we plan for others.
Right Honorable, the challenge of sharing is we do barter trade now. What happens is they will tell us that our equipment needs new tires, it needs new batteries, and we have to go through that cost. Recently, we had to go through the same cost. And you know this equipment, the tires and machines.
Yeah, the cost of wear and tear.
Of wear and tear, yes,
Yes.
which is very expensive. Lastly,
Thank
it
you.
concerns the site where we are putting garbage as in Mbale City. I don't know what plan you have, but the current site at Doko, it's at the entrance of the city. So when you're coming to Mbale, you're welcomed by heaps of garbage, which is not a good picture. I think it's high time that we go somewhere else, far away from the center of the city, where we can dump our garbage. Thank you very much, Right Honorable.
Thank you, Lop.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Let me join colleagues to appreciate the committee leadership for a very good report. I'm only dismayed by something that missed out, which is relevant and applicable to the subject matter. The audit concerns of 2023, Madam Speaker. In December 2023, the then Auditor General, Mwanga John, raised a very serious concern about operationalization of these cities. Funds to a tune of 427 plus billion were dispatched as a startup fund. But in the report, to one dismay, a whooping 41 over billion was swept back to the consolidated fund. And of course, that is justification for lack of absorption capacity by those new cities, even when they were grappling with the challenge of constraints of finances. Because 3/4 of the challenges that these cities are grappling with are compounded by insufficient funding. How on earth would they fail to utilize funds that had been dispatched for operationalization of the cities? Madam Speaker, there are also issues of non-disclosure of liabilities by these cities amounting to 1.763 billion. And this, of course, has resulted from mergers, which I know the minister is aware of. I also concur with the report that experts are urging government against functionalization or operationalization or both of the other 5 cities until the 10 have taken off. The ministry, someone, I don't know whether it is in the report, but I think it is in one of the interactions I've had with the managers of some of these governments, local governments, including KCCA. I may not concur with my good friend, the Honorable
Alan Sewanyana, who was proposing that all these cities should be under a similar act like that of Kampala Capital City Authority. That authority, if you read the act, is a mashed potato. And in fact, the mayor, the Lord Mayor and elected leaders particularly are up in arms to have it overhauled, not even amending it. Just because when you read sections of it, just like also in the Local Government Act, I've just been looking for this section 4, paragraph A. It says that the city shall be equivalent to a district. Can you imagine? Meaning that the city council shall exercise the same functions, the same powers that are conferred on a district within its area of jurisdiction. So you realize that these cities would better remain as local government councils than being authorities. An authority gives latitude to the powers that be to make appointments, which in a way infringe on the rights of the powers that are given to the people to elect their leaders. That's why you see conflicts and rifts without number within the KCCA.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, the issue of guidelines, or rather guidance, let me use the term guidance, by the Ministry on asset sharing is rather taking too long.
Actually, asset management.
Asset management. And even staff establishment, no, staff restructuring is taking rather too long. And it is also causing lots of conflicts and disputes within the cities. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Let's first hear from the Minister, then we can have a rejoinder, if any. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And thank you so much, Committee Chair and your members. And honorable colleagues, the reactions given are quite informative, and we do appreciate them. Right Honorable Speaker, I've noted 14 issues which I would need to react to, but my immediate comment would be that we agree with the committee report. And we fully embrace their recommendations. And since most of the recommendations were giving us 30 days for implementation, it would be my considered opinion that, Right Honorable Speaker, you allow us to go and focus on implementing these recommendations, and we come back to the House in 30 days. The members have raised very serious issues which require adequate attention: the urban policy, the governance structures, the statutory bodies, are they performing? The staff structures, do we have adequate staff for the cities? The financing of the cities, and I will be able to show that actually government has increased financing, and even the local revenue has improved. But that needs a bit of time for me to organize. The asset sharing, where are we? The relocation of this district headquarters, I should be able to lay on table the gazetting the new town councils of those district headquarters. And colleagues, it is the law. The law requires that the district headquarters be located in a town, either municipality or the town council. Just cast your eye. There is no district headquarters which is not in a town. So already we've secured that. Cabinet approved it. We gazetted it. But I need to lay it on table for the information of the honorable members. The legislation, where are we with a separate law for the towns? The fiscal planning, which towns have actually developed their fiscal plans, and where are the other towns. The area of the road equipment, very important. I need again to link up with the Minister of Works so that we present the correct response. Remuneration of local government leaders. There is something I should be able to present in 1 month that is really moving in the right direction to improve remuneration of our local leaders from LOC 1 up to LOC 5. The President has already directed. We have a cabinet paper, and I would wish that you give me that 1 month so that when I come back, I come with something substantial to the House. The remaining 5 cities, should they be operationalized? Should they be left out? Including the rural city matters, where the waste management, and I will brief the House that time of the strides we've made in developing the solid waste management policy for the country. Answering the issue, are we going to keep on depositing waste in the neighboring rural areas, or are we moving towards recycling, improving, turning waste into resources? Allow me to come back to the House. The issue of the sale of public assets, and where are we when we put a ban on those sales, where are we right now, and others. So, Right Honorable Speaker, it is my humble request that since I've bought into all the recommendations of the committee, and I've also taken note of the recommendations of the House, I beg you allow me to take that extra information so that then you give me 1 month to come back to the House. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, I would also want to have an audit of all the assets that have been disposed in all the cities in accordance with the section 32(6) of the Public Finance Management Act. I didn't hear about Honorable Angura's question. Honorable Angura asked a question.
Right Honorable, the issue of Tororo City and the proposed other districts out of Tororo. Right Honorable, this matter is currently before Cabinet. We've already drafted the necessary paper for consideration, and as colleague members know, creation of a city, creation of a district is the function of Parliament. So when approved by Cabinet, I'll have to come back to Parliament for the necessary way forward.
Thank you. Yes, Silas?
Right Honorable Speaker, there is one thing that I thought is worth mentioning. The issue of water in the urban councils. Right Honorable Speaker, there is a policy by government that you cannot construct a borehole in a city, in a town council, in a municipality. But we are in a crisis because whereas they are saying we don't put their boreholes, the pipes for extending water in the urban centers are not there. National Water has not yet been given money to extend water in cities and municipalities. The same challenge is facing right now.
Honorable Silas, you're quoting it badly. The provision is that you must seek for authorization where national water is. That is the position, not that you cannot drill a borehole. It's about seeking for authorization.
Much obliged, Right Honorable Speaker, but it is a problem. And they are saying that once water is contaminated because you are using a borehole, there will be a problem. Actually, we are lucky even because the Minister for Water is here. And I chair the Watch Forum, so I speak from an uninformed point of view. There is a crisis. You need to help municipalities and cities. We need money for extending water. And WASH is suffering in these urban centers. Honorable Minister, you need to speak it all so that we know where you are coming from. Tell us, where is the water? Where is the extension? Where are the pipes? What is happening? What are you doing? What are you about to do?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, it all comes back to what you're saying. But you've said we give you 1 month to come with the action taken report on as per Rule 229. So we need an action taken report on that.
Most obliged, Right Honorable Speaker. And as I explained, some of the issues raised refer to other sectors, like water, like roads, like the issue of the health units, like the issue of the sewage and so on. That's why I believe, we manage local governments, together with the others. The Minister of Lands may be in charge of physical planning, but implementation with the local governments. And of course, in the meantime, as we come back, Right Honorable, I would like to beg the colleagues, within the law, each member of parliament is a member of the local council at the district. Colleagues, help us so that we work together to improve some of these matters down there. I thank you.
Honorable members, the next item we have for Honorable Abed. The report requires a Minister of Health, acting lead of government business. I am told you're acting, Honorable ICT. Can we have the minister inside? The senior ministers, we get frustrated as a house when we come here to transact business and the ministers are not there. We have a bill on works. The Attorney General was here. We've been waiting for Attorney General, but the minister to move a motion is not here. We have this report on of Honorable Abedi. The minister is not here. We cannot come and sit here and wait for ministers. It is so disappointing.
Right Honorable, I feel you and I hear you very well. The disappointment that you've demonstrated, I believe that the acting government chief whip, but as a minister on this side, we are going to mobilize ourselves and be here tomorrow as we wait for the feedback from the acting government chief whip, who could have been briefed.
The House is adjourned to tomorrow.
12월 3일에 벌어졌던 친위 군사 쿠데타는 전 세계를 두 번 놀라게 했습니다. 첫째는 세계 10위의 경제 강국에서 대통령이 자기 권력을 강화하기 위한 친위 군사 쿠데타를 일으켰다는 사실이었습니다. 두 번째는 그 총칼을 든 친위 군사 쿠데타 세력을 피 한 방울 흘리지 않고 평화적으로 국민들의 힘으로 이겨냈다는 사실입니다. 위대한 대한민국 국민들께서 이미 우리가 나아갈 더 나은 세상의 모습을 보여주었다는 것입니다. 자유롭고 평등한 광장에서 서로 다른 색깔의 응원봉이 경쾌한 K-팝 떼창으로 어우러지며 역사의 퇴행을 막아냈습니다. 찬연한 빛으로 부활한 민주주의의 공간에서 저마다 자유롭게 토론하며 더 나은 세상을 상상했습니다. 다른 이야기에 귀 기울이며 서로를 존중하는 연대와 상생, 그리고 배려의 에너지를 모두 모아 새로운 민주공화국을 열어냈습니다. 모진 추위를 서로의 온기로 이겨낸 키세스 시위대, 함께하지 못한 시민들이 핫팩 난방버스 연대, 금남로의 주먹밥을 계승한 여의도와 한남동의 선결제까지 대한민국 국민들은 내란 극복 과정에서 참여와 연대의 가치를 확인하며 민주주의 역사의 새로운 장을 써 내려갔습니다. 여전히 민주주의의 힘을, 주권자의 저력을 의심하는 사람들이 있다면 고개를 들어 동방의 나라 대한민국을 바라보라. K민주주의가 열어갈 희망의 행진을 지켜보라 라고 말씀드리고 싶습니다. 전 세계에서 오신 우리 정치학계 학자 여러분, 역동적인 민주주의의 현장 대한민국에 오신 것을 대한민국 국민들과 함께 환영합니다. 제가 준비된 말씀을 드리기 전에 저는 우리 대한민국이 전 세계 역사에 남을 위대한 민주주의의 새 길을 열고 있다고 자부합니다. 우리는 어릴 적부터 민주주의를 배우고 민주주의는 그리스의 아테네가 상징하고 있지만 앞으로는 민주주의의 위기가 도래한 새로운 이 세상의 환경에서 진정한 주권자들의 의지가 일상적으로 정치에 반영되는 제대로 된 민주주의, 확실한 민주주의의 새로운 전범은 대한민국 서울에서 시작된다는 것을 전 세계인들에게 알리고 싶습니다. 감사드립니다. 2025년 세계정치학회 서울총회 참석을 위해서 대한민국을 찾아주신 여러분을 대한민국 국민들과 함께 진심으로 환영합니다. 뜻깊은 행사 개최를 위해 애써주신 세계정치학회 관계자 여러분께도 축하와 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 인류가 처한 공통의 갈등을 해결하기 위해서는 새로운 공동체의 질서를 창조해야 한다. 1997년 세계정치학회 서울총회 자리에서 존경하는 김영삼 전 대통령께서 남기신 말씀입니다. 전 세계가 마주한 민주주의 위기 앞에서 과연 우리는 새로운 질서를 창조하고 있는지 자문해 봅니다. 위기일수록 기본으로 돌아가야 합니다. 시대에 걸맞게 민주주의는 어떻게 진화해야 하는가? 정치는 더 나은 삶의 기반을 만들어내고 있는가? 끊임없이 되물어야 제대로 미래를 향해 전진할 수 있습니다. 우리 대한민국은 전쟁의 폐허와 외환 위기의 국난을 딛고 세계 10위 경제 강국으로 성장한 나라입니다. 그리고 동시에 독재 정권의 억압을 딛고 민주주의를 쟁취해낸 모범적인 민주주의 국가이기도 합니다. 그러나 여러분 모두가 생생하게 기억하시는 것처럼 지난해 12월 3일 이 대한민국에서는 감히 상상조차 하기 어려웠던 친위 군사 쿠데타가 벌어졌습니다. 12월 3일에 벌어졌던 친위 군사 쿠데타는 전 세계를 두 번 놀라게 했습니다. 첫째는 세계 10위의 경제 강국에서 대통령이 자기 권력을 강화하기 위한 친위 군사 쿠데타를 일으켰다는 사실이었습니다. 두 번째는 그 총칼을 든 친위 군사 쿠데타 세력을 피 한 방울 흘리지 않고 평화적으로 국민들의 힘으로 이겨냈다는 사실입니다. 경악과 공포는 순식간에 찬사와 경이로움으로 바뀌었습니다. 지난 겨울부터 이번 여름에 이르기까지 6개월 동안 대한민국이 절망 속에서 발견한 희망, 퇴행 속에서 발견한 도약의 가능성, 그 중간 어딘가쯤에 세계 민주주의의 현실과 과제가 모두 자리하고 있을 것입니다. 12.3 내란은 민주주의 제도의 취약성을 단적으로 드러냈습니다. 현직 대통령의 황당무계한 친위 군사 쿠데타는 대화와 타협을 배제한 채 상대를 말살하고 영구 집권하겠다는 헛된 욕망에서 비롯됐습니다. 생각이 다른 상대를 제거하겠다는 반민주적인 폭거는 헌법기관에 대한 근거 없는 불신과 폭력으로 이어졌고 국민이 피땀으로 지켜왔던 자유민주적 기본 질서는 여지없이 짓밟혔습니다. 무엇보다 갈등과 분열의 씨앗을 광범위하게 퍼뜨리며 우리 대한민국 사회에 깊은 상처를 남겼습니다. 그러나 그늘진 담벼락 밑에서도 기어코 빛을 찾아 피어나는 들꽃들처럼 12.3 내란의 극복 과정은 민주주의가 가진 진정한 힘과 희망을 확실하게 보여주었습니다.